Last speaker before the break is someone that I never bored of listening to. So when I saw his draft presentation on Monday, I extremely enjoyed. So this is Kris Piessens for Geological Survey of Belgium, and he's going to tell us something about the bare necessity of geological mapping.
Yeah, thanks, Francesco, for raising the pressure a little bit. Today, this presentation, we're going to do something that we've never successfully achieved before. And that's convincing you, audience, that what you want is a geological map. And we don't need that much to actually convince you. We've got the Earth, very important. We've got you, equally important. And that's enough to ask us one very fundamental question. How do you stay alive? And, well, oh boy, I've got so many animations. Yeah. And in order to do that, in order to survive until, let's say, the next... Let me try another way, because I've got a lot of clicking to do in this presentation. Whoa. Yeah. In order to make it, let's say, until next morning, you will need to find shelter, you will need to find food, you will need to find things such as chocolates. And I'm very confident that each and every one of you will be able to make it until tomorrow morning, because your survival skills are all excellent. At least as long as you stay above ground. It's very important to also realize that everything that's here on this slide also requires something from the subsurface. So, there is a link here. What you see here is a link between anything that you need at the surface, also links to something in the subsurface. And if we raise a challenge and ask you to also find these resources, that means that you need to know what the geology is here in Brussels and whether that geology offers any opportunities for what you need to find. And at this moment, I see some confused faces here, like, am I supposed to do this? No, of course not, because that's why you have geologists, if the presentation works with me. Yes. And now I could, of course, the question still stays, then how does a geologist do this and achieve all of these elements? And in order to answer that question, we're going to change the story a little bit, slightly, and replace our geologist by a rather primitive person that is always hungry, and therefore always on the hunt for food. And it is in bad luck because this person lives not just in an open plain, he lives in a very dense forest or a very dense jungle where all of this food is hidden. So how does this person go about in finding that food? Well, I don't have to explain you that, because you have had 4 excellent presentations telling you how to find different resources. Basically, it comes down to tracking skills. You look what data is out there, you use all of your senses, all of your techniques, and you try to pinpoint down these resources. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's an excellent method, but just imagine that we give this person now a map. And suddenly things start making sense. It explains why animals are here at this moment of day and migrate to another location otherwise. We've just upgraded our hunter to a prime predator. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why geological maps are so important. And of course, you're a very critical audience and a very attentive audience. And I'm just showing this slide because you would immediately otherwise stand up and say, but we have geological maps. We've got piles of them. And that is true. But we also live in Europe, and Europe has a lot of borders. And all of these maps, they stop at borders. And I think I need an example to explain why that is a problem. What I'm showing you here is a profile that's a vertical section through the underground from Belgium to the Netherlands. And yes, I've hidden the middle part there. And you see left and right colors. And I mean, anyone, a child, could basically connect these colors and trace them through. So let's see how the experts do that from both countries. and they do, well, not far from perfect job. I mean, any child seems to have be able to do that better. If you ask why this is such a problem, why it is so difficult, it's because geologists live in forests. And it's just a tough life that they have. Of course, if you realize that, if you made them work together, then they can do something very different. And they can come up with models like this, which is a very big improvement over the other one. So it's not a fundamental issue, but it's just an existing issue. And if you ask, is it just Belgium, Netherlands? No, this is all across Europe. And moreover, it's actually, you find these things onshore, you find them offshore, you find them at the surface, you find them at depth, you find them across different scales. There are even these kind of issues that we know about, but we actually haven't really documented and are doing anything about them right now. So this is really a pan-European problem that requires a pan-European effort. But it's also good news. The good news is that we have IGMA 5000. And IGMA 5000 is the only harmonized map where geology is harmonized across the whole of Europe. And also in view is here my very esteemed expert Ale, who is expert in everything that's geology, and she's staring at this map because she wants to decipher what the geology is in Brussels. One of the questions we asked ourselves earlier, and this is what she sees. That's her finger or fingertip for scale. And she's pointing at a small dot that is representing Brussels. Not just Brussels, it represents 1 million European inhabitants. Clearly, a map at a scale of 1/5 million isn't able to show geology in any kind of level of detail for that group of people. Does it mean that we just stop working, that we sit on our lazy butts and complain about that we need better maps? Of course not. We're very active, and also inside in this project, we are working hard, and we're doing things such as using or reworking that IGMA 5000 map into a different type of map that helps us locate or do thematic work and that will in the end help us to locate these resources. But there are limitations to what we can do with what we have. If you want us to continue this work, we really need better maps. Let me rephrase that. It's not just us that need those maps, it's actually you that will be needing those maps. Let me just concentrate on clicking. There we are. And if there's one thing, if you come here to just remember one thing from every presentation, I would like you to understand that when we talk about geological maps or geological models, we're not talking about blue sky science. We're talking about things that we desperately need to research Europe, which is something that's very high on the agenda. Basically, we're talking about our bare necessities that we would like, that we all need, and if that's something, a message that sticks, then we would already like to thank you.